Hello, everybody. It's Josh and Simon for Time Zones and Time Meters. I don't know what we are. Music, podcast, YouTube discussion that we record close to every week. We upload it for you guys. It's pretty kind of it, isn't it? Yeah, very, very polished introduction today.
Yeah, it's also a very polished channel. Basically, we talk about the music, what we listen to. We forgot to, usually we do that monthly, but this time we forgot to do it, or we were just too busy to do it
Crazy.
in March. So we're doing a March and April conjoined, even though April is not completely over. My
Not getting
choices
close.
are not so time bound, to be honest. It's not stuff that came out this month anyway.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, mine's a little bit varied because I've been so busy. I've listened to a bit less in the last probably 2 weeks than what I did, but the month before I was very busy. So for me, that's just is what it is, right? Like, just is what it is. But no, I've got a few new things, newish things that I've been listening to. So I guess we should probably just sort of get started and just have a chat about what
Yeah,
we've been up
let's
to,
get
shall we?
started. I'll do it in sections of format here. I can start with a vinyl. I kind of came across the majority of the Kayak
Oh
discography.
yeah,
This is
yeah. These are the guys that
this
you
is
were talking to me about last year a bit.
yeah. This was like I think our second program. I talked about Kayak. Then I especially mentioned this one, Merlin. From the early 80s. I think it's from 82 or something like that. But we have other stuff. We have this one from 77, the last encore. I actually don't even know what year this is. From CC the Sun. And I have, oh, I dropped one. Royal Bed Bouncer. Um, and
Obviously.
so this got me a bit more familiar with this band than I was.
Oh yeah.
And it's very yesy, I think. Like it's very like it's a Dutch yes, I would say. And same thing there that they went a bit pop, but also successful when entering the 80s. Um, yeah, so that's been quite some fun. I preferred yes over Kayak, I have to say. Um,
I did a little bit of exploration of this band when you told me. I think
yeah,
this was on our episode where we did like bands from our country, right? And you picked a few Swedish and you picked
yeah,
them as the Dutch one. Yeah. So
yeah,
I had a little
yeah,
bit of a look into them. I thought they were kind of cool. I probably thought it was a bit of an easier listen than some of the Yes stuff that I'd done.
yeah. I would say
So
so. Yeah,
so because of that, I think it had a little bit more of an instant appeal for me. So maybe that's worth people checking out. Did you have a favorite album so far out of them?
I think this one.
Okay.
Yeah, together with maybe with Merlin still. Yeah. Um, and speaking of yes, I also came across this one with John Anderson. So the typical singer of Yes, together with Vangelis, the guy who made Chariots of Fire, but also I think he did he not play in Yes as well for a short while, or it was a Soft Machine. Does it come from Soft Machine? At least one of these like classic 70s prog rock bands. He was the keyboardist from as well. He's a Greek guy, but I think mostly he's known for his solo career. So they did this album together. I didn't know they did that. I kind of stumbled across this thing. You know, Close to the Edge. I get up, I get down. Like, oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, I was going to say, I know what you're talking about. It was a nice rendition. We'll see if anyone at home knows what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, no, but then it's like a soft section,
Yeah.
like it's a little bit ambient, and John is just get up. It's very. There's plenty of sections in a lot of Yes songs like that. I think the only thing is like with this thing, it never, Chris Squire's bass line never kicks in. It never starts. So it was a little bit of a. I don't know, man. Maybe I need to hear it more, but I thought like I was just waiting for it to actually to happen.
Mm.
Um, and then this thing, Jean-Luc Ponty, so a French violinist, for the ones that don't know. This one is from 77. This is like fusion. Awesome. Came across in the local thrift store. It's really, really good fusion. Maybe one of my favorite fusion albums. Not that I have a ton of them. So that was a couple of LPs that I've been listening to in March and April. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's very cool. I think it's just funny that you're sort of searching through things, finding random stuff, listening to them. When you're sort of searching through, do you just like pull your phone out and you're like quickly searching like who's this, what's this, what or are you just going like
Yeah.
that looks cool, I'm gonna buy it. Like
There's like this option if you look for an album on Vinted, then you can it's best to bundle it with other stuff that the same seller is selling.
Mhm.
So then you can because then you get more for your shipping money, and then you see okay this could be of interest. So
Mm.
then I saw this John Anderson for example, and this thing. It was a familiar name. I knew it was like doing fusion, but I hadn't heard of him. But when I saw that in the thrift store, I mean, if I see a fusion record in the thrift store, and it's like, it's not any money we're talking about here. It's like 1-2 euros. So
Yeah,
so
okay.
of course I'll bring it home, and yeah, that one is for sure worth the money. Yeah, and so and that way I can legitimize my spending that is growing every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. This is one of those months for me where I've had just picking random albums, having it on in the background a little bit as I go. So I just had a bit of a look over the last like month or two. I've got like over 50 albums that I've played through, as in just like 50 albums where it's like 9 songs, 10 songs, according to like my streaming records and stuff. So it looks like it's, if it's everything from A Perfect Circle to, Mother of Millions to Haken to, The World is a Beautiful Place, a whole bunch of different things. No Spoon, Okay, Good Night. Like it's just me sort of henpecking different things. But I did sort of end up sort of really like
Yep.
zoning in on one or two albums which were kind of new and a little bit funky as well. So probably look, if I start at the top, the most played album over this last like section of time has still been Woodcut by Big Big Train, and I know we've mentioned that before. So I'm still
Oh
still
yeah.
still plugging through
Oh yeah.
that.
Nice.
So also Sanya by the Deer Hunter. So that's been like those two have been my most played.
Hey, with big trains, what are your ups and downs in the big
Look,
trains?
I just think
Big big train.
it's good. Like it's just a quality album. I think it's up. It'll be up there with like one of the better ones that I've heard so far this year. I mean, Big Big Train are funny for me in that I hear parts of stuff they do and I absolutely love it, but some of the stuff just doesn't quite gel with me, and I just go, oh, I need to do more listens. I need to do more listens. And so when this album was released, I thought to myself, I'll make sure to give this band the justice they probably deserve that I've never given them. And so, where in the past I've really loved like, tracks like Folklore and, stuff from their previous stuff, this one here, I just thought I'd really give it some time. And so it's at the stage now where I'm pretty familiar with the music itself, but I don't have like a standout where I just go, oh, that's that track, or I couldn't name which one's my favorite yet, for example. But I find it a really sort of easy to listen to, like pleasant, good quality prog music that has like some I don't know what it is, really professional cohesion nearly. Like I think they sort of set the bar, and I think they set it pretty high as well. So I've kind of enjoyed it. It's not my favorite sort of jam, but in saying it, I'm definitely giving it a big thumbs up, and I'm just going to keep it just on in the background, over the next few months, I think, because I have a feeling that it'll continue to grow and continue to grow, and it could end up one of those sort of album of the year candidates, and it definitely is so far. So I think it's definitely in that sort of
Yeah.
top
Same.
top 10 things that I've heard that are new this year for sure.
Like the criticism I hear about Big Train usually is that yeah, it is very competent and it ticks all the boxes usually, but that it doesn't quite have a bite. Like they kind of, and that I have to admit that like they lack anything darkness. Like because I mean it is very Genesis-y, right? Like
Yeah.
you if you look at, okay, from what of these classic bands are they, inspired? One would totally say Genesis. And I think that Genesis, at least with like the Peter Gabriel era Genesis, they had way more darkness in them than Big Train. So I can see that criticism. However, I love this new album. I don't think it's toothless either. I think like this is it Albion Press that opens side B. It's like
Yeah, I kind of
some
agree with what
riffage.
I definitely agree with what you're saying though, and I think that is kind of how I stand with them too. And I like the melancholies. I like the big, intense, dark moments. I like the rockin' moments. I love the energy that's in so much of my favorite music, right? And so for these guys, they definitely sit in that not quite going down that route kind of avenue, but it's really enjoyable. I think it's clean, and I think it's interesting because I should probably lead to this now. There's a band called Lunear, Lunear, who is like a prog sort of rock project. I think they're from France, if I remember correctly, but they've just recently about to release their sort of newest album. They reached out to me and sent me a copy of their sort of stuff, and I've been listening to that, and it's really interesting because I would put them in the same category as kind of Big Train, and they've got this like Genesis-y kind of neo-prog vibe. They definitely feel a bit like Marillion to me as well. It's that sort of vibe of music, and the new album's called There Is Always Next Time. Yeah, that's what it is. And look, I really enjoyed it. I thought to myself that it's got like, I don't know, it feels a little bit blues, and there's a little bit of funk in there as well, which I quite like. It's got some really fantastic sort of little guitar work as well. And the funny thing is, I'd say very similar things about Big Train as well. And so this is a band that I don't think has the same, like it doesn't have anywhere near the support, I think, of what Big Train do, like the fandom, for example. But these guys are bang in that area. I thought it was really professionally done. And so they kind of made me do a bit of a second take on this, because sometimes, people will reach out and say, oh, check out our stuff, and, you're a bit unsure of what to expect. But this one I definitely have enjoyed. And so I'm looking forward to hearing what other people think as well. What I like about both this album by Big Train and also There Is Always Next Time is they don't just try and stand up there and be, virtuosos. Like they're trying to create a message. They're trying to have some form of emotive, like response that they're trying to pull out of you. And I really appreciate that. I think it's more about the journey than it is about how intricate they are. So I'm a bit of a fan of both of those two albums so far, and they've been good. I plan to give this one a little bit more time as well, but that's I've just sort of been dipping in when I can. But yeah, did you say you'd heard from these guys as well? Did you give the album a go?
No, only so I haven't got into it yet. I now added them to my Bandcamp artists, so I will check them out. Yeah,
Cool.
Sounds like something that suits me.
I think it would, and that's my kind of thing. Is I get the feeling that this band would be a bit more up your alley than it is mine. That was Lunear, Lunear. I also have been doing Sunya by the Deer Hunter, their new one. I'm really enjoying this. Heaps of people talked about Antimai, their last album that was released, and I know that we spoke a little bit with Jacob Roberge about this as well. In the Deer Hunter sort of the acts session, and ranking discography. But this, I like it, and maybe a bit more than Antimai as well. I thought it's not quite as sudden, like it doesn't hit you quite as quickly, but it's got some really cool stuff in it as well. Like I really like the opening track, The Wasteland. I think Marauders, and I think it's pronounced Bizarre Reteria, is pretty funky. And then you have kind of the epic on the album, which is The Glass Desert, and they have that in 3 sections, which is kind of cool. And although it does definitely take a while to get into that longer sort of track for me, I've really enjoyed it, and I think this one's is a standout album this year for me. Like I'm really liking it. I'm sort of digging the vibe now, and I think now that I've done Sunya, I'm going to go back to Antimai with maybe a little bit more appreciation for the new soundscape that they have. And I know lots of people thought Anti-My was one of their favorite albums of 2022, but it didn't. It wasn't on my periphery then. So you know, now I'm going to be sort of cycling back and seeing how that goes. Did you get a chance to play it at all yourself?
Nay, I still have to get to it. However, I'm as we speak, I'm adding it to my list. Yeah. No. Well, yeah. No. Regarding new stuff, I have to say the new single from Yes, Aurora.
Okay.
So, like everything when I see Yes mentioned regarding their latest lineup, which does not have John Anderson, it doesn't have any of those classic Yes members. However, they do have on keyboards, they have Jeff Downs, who played on Drama, for example. Superb keyboard player. Like, I don't think that he is like any lesser than Rick Wakeman, for example. So, I mean, and of course, Steve Howe, who is in the band still. Um, and I guess by now it's pretty much his band. But the thing that, like, the lack of original members causes everything that I see about this lineup being negative. Like, everybody is like, if you go to their Instagram, for example, you read the comments, everybody's going like, what band is this? This is not Yes, this is No, or this is Maybe, or, you know, this is Asia. And I haven't really gotten that far into their discography. And of course, Yes, being known for being like the revolving door of band members, they of course have been without John Anderson in the past as well. Drama, for example. But however, then they had a singer that sounded a lot like John Anderson, and this one sounds very much different. His name is, by the way, also John, I believe, Davison, John Davison. So they went from John Anderson to John Davison. Last time when they switched singer, they had someone who sounded just like him. This time they have someone whose name is almost the same. I fucking love it. I think
Cool.
it's a superb single, and so their new album is releasing in June, and you know, I can't wait. That's what I'm looking forward to. The next big release that I'm looking forward to is absolutely Yes' upcoming album. It took me some time to, you know, adjust to that voice, but loving it. And I also think, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Steve Howe's style of playing guitars, but I think like how he plays here is great. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I think there's a few releases that are coming out that I'm going to really look forward to over the next like few months. I know that who was it's releasing singles. It would be Advent Horizon. So I loved their album from a few years ago, 2023 or 4, I think it was. But I loved their album, was one of my favorites for that year easily. And so they're releasing a new one this year too. I know that they've released a few singles, but I've abstained. I deliberately made the choice to not do singles until releases are done, or at least as much as possible. Like, you know, just because I don't want to ruin anything. And so I'm really excited to get to that one, and it's coming out soon. I think I heard OK Goodnight are about to release an album
Oh
as
yeah.
well, and it's coincidentally, it's what I was listening to at the beginning of this year, so I'm pretty excited about that too.
Yeah.
Green Carnation just released the second A Dark Poem Part 2 was released recently, so I've listened to that 2 or 3 times through, and it's in the same vein as the last one. Like, I feel like it's exactly as like if you're a fan of the first one, then this is definitely worth checking out. Like, this will be a very, very, I think, satisfying sort of, you know, conclusion. Obviously, it's the second section here, so I reckon everyone should check that out. It's still new to me, so I'm not like super familiar with it, but the soundscape is so familiar compared to the last album released last year too. So maybe that's worth sort of checking out. So you said you haven't done that one either. Oh, you've got some.
No. Well, I've heard like 1 or 2 singles from it. To me, it's still a bit close. I'm still digesting the first one, and then comes the second one, and I'm like, okay, well, I can, I need to take it easy here.
I think I'm going to do like part one and then part two and do them back to back.
Yeah,
As my next listening when I decide to get there too. So I think that'll be fun. If for no
yeah,
other reason than just sort of seeing, whether or not because they might have just made it together. I haven't actually looked up
I
anything,
think so. Yeah, yeah.
and so
I can
it's
only assume because it's so close
yeah.
to each other, and I mean they're not known for working particularly fast usually. Well, I mean, and this is part two of three.
Oh,
So
is it? Wow,
yeah,
I didn't even
yeah,
realize. There you
yeah.
go.
So it's a triology.
I'll be interested to know when the next one comes out too, then as well.
Do you get a grip on the theme? Because we were talking about that.
Yeah,
Like how much of this is metaphors and how much is a story about someone, or is it just
yeah. I think with me, I still
obviously
haven't.
mental health is.
Yeah, is a big thing too. But no, I haven't really deep dived, especially with this one. I haven't given it any thought since our album review last year at all. So I'd need to probably just re-explore that a little bit and have another look at it too. But look, I mean, it's solid. It sounds to be really solid for just three listens through. And usually I don't make too many comments until I've done at least sort of six or seven, and then after that I work out if I'm going to really deep dive into it. Exactly. For any children that are aboard, which there is nobody who's going to be doing these ones within our community, I doubt. But I do have some new bands, man. I have some new ones that I'd
Yeah,
never
there was
heard
a there
of.
was a there was a clip Robert Fripp just doing things. So yeah, who knows? Anyway, sorry, I
No, no, no,
digress.
it's okay, it's okay. I was just going to say I've listened to some brand new bands as well lately. So I was listening to a few like online sort of reviews for what's been coming out this year and some band stuff. And there's a band called Terravia. Terravia, and they released an album called A New World. And this has been pretty cool. This is a bit more my jam than a lot of the other things that I've been talking about. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Deer Hunter, and I like Reincarnation as well. They're fine, but this is more like prog metal, a bit more experimental. But yeah, so Terravia. Let me just pull them up quickly and make sure I'm not. So it looks like they were founded in like 2021. And they're from Norway. So this is a Norwegian prog metal band, and they've got a previous album, I think, which they released last year or something. But this one here, I've dived into, and I'm really, really enjoying it. The standout track is called "The Origin." Easily, it's the second. If I remember, it's the second track on the album, and I really like highly recommend if this is you just sort of want to dip your toe in to see if this is a band for you, maybe check that out. But the album's called A New World. I've played it through. What's this now? So this is one, two, three, probably like 5, 6 times. I'm enjoying it. The first track does have some heavy vocals in it, which are kind of not here nor there with me. So they're not too full on. And I think there's enough sort of soft stuff in it for me to be quite content and quite happy. It does start. Look, I'm just going to call it here. I think they are using the same sample track for a war at the beginning. Like it's got a siren in the background, which is like wow, and like bullets in the background as well. But I reckon it's straight out of like
One.
yeah, that's where I would go, Metallica. Or maybe if it's not like that one, maybe there's another metal band called, who are they? They're super famous. They're very poppy. Disturbed. So Disturbed have one or two tracks I think that have like a very similar intro. Maybe it's like it's not Down with the Sickness, but it's one of those kinds of tracks as well. Anyway, I'll have to look that up. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. I'm not a huge Disturbed fan, but I did listen to them a bit because I had a friend who was a big fan of them. And he asked me to give them a go, so I did. But anyway, long story short, I think it's got the same sort of little opening track thing before it gets started. This first track's called War as well, but it's good, and I think this this could end up sneaking in there. Like, this is a very cool album, and I haven't listened to it enough to truly go, yep, I'm committed here and I'm calling it, but it was good. It was real good. You haven't heard of them before?
I have not. Regarding like not regular, at least harsh vocals, I did listen to. So I've been doing 2025 albums.
Wow.
So I have 70. I have a list. I ranked 70 albums of 2025, and one album that I had to think about here was Phase Transition. Have you heard of that?
No.
That totally your jam. It's like modern prog metal. There's a female vocalist, and she also plays violin.
Okay.
So that is takes a little bit center stage. And then the last track there, I believe, features harsh vocals. Well, you shake awake, like it's. Then it gets really, really harsh, and before that, it's more the typical. It's a little bit, I guess, like with Green Carnation, like that kind of level of heaviness, and then that all of a sudden have this Black Death track, with the slave that you are, like kind of like that, and that's it. And
was
and
this called In Search of
right.
Being? Is this so this is Phase Transition called In Search of Being? Okay.
Yeah.
I just looked them up. I'll check it out. That sounds a bit exciting too.
Or should I play you a bit? Maybe.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not?
So it's a little bit like if you're a fan of OK Goodnight.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
It's got the like a similar tonal quality maybe to the lady's voice and vocals. So these guys are Portuguese as well. So that accent's like, I don't know where she's from. She doesn't sound Portuguese to me. But in saying that, I think it's also like tickling something in my memory. So like there's somebody else that reminds me of too. But I like it. It's cool. It's heavy. It's got that sort of genty. I like the guitar and bass like slapping about the place that was going on there. That was very, very cool.
Pretty heavy riffage. I'll see if I can find some violin as well. That's a guitar. Just as standard as guitar solos, you have these violin solos, which is quite refreshing.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it definitely has like a look. I'm interested. I'll check it out, and I'll give you a proper verdict later. Sound good? But that's cool. There was I have another band just while we're talking about like newer stuff that I'd never heard of. So this one is Major Parkinson. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
I've never heard of them before. So I'd never heard of Major Parkinson.
I think they're also Norwegian.
This one here, I have no idea where they're from actually, but they released an album as well, and it's called Valeza, and this is chapter 2 in their little series as well. But I'm kind of sold on this one in a funny way though. Like sometimes I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then other times I go, what the hell is going on? Like, one of them.
Yeah, same. You have to be in the mood.
Yeah. And so I don't know.
It's not per se an easy listen.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at times it feels pretty poppy, but there was, what one was it? There was one of the, I can't even remember which track it is, but he sings about like, getting a vasectomy or something. And like it keeps going over and over again. Like he repeats this like key sort of phrase, and it sort of pulls me out. I'm like, what are you doing? Like that's so weird. But look, this one's creative. This one's a little bit more in the vibe of like we're going to take you on like this weird, very eclectic sort of journey, I guess is the best way to put it. But it's got some really cool stuff in there too. So I'm not sure if it's hitting in it's very progressive, but it's also not very progressive in that it's simpler in some ways. It's just a bit crazy and jumps around the place. So it's not highly complex music, or at least from what I've heard. I haven't picked up on the complexities. But this one was look, it's something really sort of fun and very different. And so I think that's worth maybe checking out if that's the kind of thing that you guys like in the background, right? What was your experience?
Cool. I didn't know they had I didn't know they had a new album out. I listened to, let's see here, there wasn't, it's a couple of years old, I believe. I think one of the tracks was something with the strawberry. Let's see here. Major Parkinson, strawberry suicide. So, I'm still streaming. Or what do you call it? Yeah, Black Box from 2017. That album I've been listening to. So this was some time ago, and that one was, as I recall it, pretty experimental. So like that was especially I thought they were weird, but in a very in a way that I enjoy. Yeah, okay. I will have to check out what they sound now, 9 years later.
Yeah, and look, I reckon I think this will be one of those ones where you go, yeah, I liked it, but I don't know if you'd rate it very highly. Like that's my gut vibe says that, but I'll be super interested. I was going to mention I also got referred to. I think I brought these guys up before. This is not prog really at all, but there was the Boxers Rebellion. Did I talk to you about this? It's like an indie band, like alternative band. I think they're American, or at least they sound American to me. Let me have a look and see if I can pull it up. But I had this recommended to me by just a friend of mine who I talked to online, just on Instagram, and she and I have some very similar tastes. But it's interesting because this is very left of field. Like she said, look, if you're after something different, this is different, and it's kind of a bit more sort of like lo-fi kind of indie alternative kind of music, and it's pretty cool. Like it's nice as a background piece. And I think if I'm not looking for something that's like prog, and I just want something that's a bit more sort of like chill, or like it sort of hits the nail on the head when it comes to just sort of atmosphere and stuff as well. So it's got some cool grooves in it. There's 2 albums I listened to. One of them
when you're cleaning your palette.
Yeah, that kind of thing, right?
Or when you're cleaning your palette.
Yeah. There's two albums I heard. The first one was just released, and that's called The Second I'm Asleep. And so that one there was released just on the 27th of March, so the end of the month. And so I've done that a few times. And the other one that I did, I can't actually... Oh, I can see the artwork. It's the one with like the neon colored. Here we go. Ocean by Ocean was the one that I'm more familiar with, which was released. I think it says 2016. This one was released, and this one's definitely kind of got like a sort of beachy theme to it as well, which is kind of cool. So I don't know. Look, it's pretty heartfelt music in some ways. I think it's different, and it's outside of my standard listening sort of musical array, but that's been fun to kind of just explore, something that's a bit left of field too. Yeah. So you haven't heard of those guys before?
No. Let's see here. I got some CDs I thought I would mention as well.
Yeah, go at it. Let us know.
Or are you? Or do you have anything to add?
No. It's cool.
I don't want to cut you off, Josh.
You're right.
I didn't want to cut you off. That one I have not been listening to. I have this one I found at the at the thrift shop. and I thought, what the hell? Why not?
That looks like it's Kesha, is it?
It's not. It's candy. Can.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it. You should put the little when you edit it. You should put the Kesha album up in the corner. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like the most famous saxophonist of the Netherlands, Candy Dulfer. I bought it because she did some stuff with Pink Floyd, which I really enjoyed. In a studio album. But what I think about is indeed when she played with them live. And this is very dated. Like you really hear that this is from 1990, and I don't know if I really enjoy it, to be honest. I mean, she's a fine sax player, but it's almost like it sounds like jingles from the 90s almost, or like you have those, woo, yeah, those typical 90s samples and stuff. I don't know. Anyway. I also needed something that was like really proggy in the car, because the car is where I listen to my CDs mostly. And so I got this thing.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, you know it? Yeah.
No, I don't know it at all, but I've seen the artwork before for sure. Well, who are they? Tell us about them. Let's see if
So this is I believe, British band, and they're on Inside Out. Then it's Prague, Yeah, they're indeed from the UK. It's a project or band being led by a guitarist that's his last name, Maschine. Or Maschine, I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. And it's very like it's absolutely capital P prog, modern prog, I would say. Like it has a very modern sound. It's not quite metal, but you can have some metal riffs in there and stuff. And it's like it's every other drum beat is offbeat. It's like you have to switch. I think it's great for sitting in the car learning. Here they go from 9/8 to 11/8, and just like, okay, here comes the snare on the third quarter note, and here it's on the fifth, and it's like it's complex, but it's still a bit poppy.
I've just had a look. I have listened to it. And I have gone through it once, and I put it on my re-listen list. So that's cool. And you enjoyed it, you said?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like for when you want something very proggy, very, not too easy. Like it's quite technical, and also the guitarist guy can shred, but he's very humble about it. Like it doesn't really show it off, but if he puts in a lick there, it's like, oh, that's 10 notes in 2 seconds, or maybe 1 second. It's like it's very the guy has fast fingers, but it doesn't necessarily show it off. It is a little bit of a like fusiony kind of guitar playing style.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite CD at the moment is this one.
I know that one.
Not the latest one by Regressor. Joseph Steve's recent project, Regressor. This is not his latest album, because I'm still waiting for that he might release that on LP, so then I'm holding out a bit. This one is 4 years old. This one is from 2022. It's also excellent. Previously he called his guitar stuff Star Systems, and they were a bit more metal-ish. Yep. And also maybe a little more prog metal, of course. And I think, and I wonder, we didn't ask him this, but is he calling it Regressor because he's coming off prog and venturing another direction? Because like progression, regression, I don't know. But I mean, not in a bad sense. I think that this is like it's exactly progressing, because I cannot really say that you have another artist sounding like this, and I think that goes more and more the more this direction he goes. The thing that comes close is indeed what he also mentioned as one of his favorite guitar players, David Maxim Micic. That is like, if you like David Maxim Micic, you'd love
Check
this.
it out.
Check
Yeah,
it
great
out.
guy
Yeah,
too.
yeah, super. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, cool. So so they're the CDs that you've been doing lately, you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm just having a quick look to see if there's anything else on here that we haven't discussed in the past. Because I'm also like touching base on like, just some old Rage Against Machine stuff. Because eventually we'd like to do a discography thing of them, maybe. The other thing that's continuing just in the background for me is Carnival too. So I've just been trying to keep, that going along. Inverses is a good album, man. Like it's a good album. It's got to be one of the better ones. So far, I think it's got the #1 spot in my books in terms of best new album for the year. That and Sunya are right up there. But yeah, so it's very cool. I also did a one-off listing of Rope and Ladder. This is Wild, it's called. This one was a bit sadder, if I remember correctly. I'm not familiar enough to deep dive into giving a good what's the word, like synopsis of sort of what they're sort of like, but I'm going to continue doing that too. So maybe next month I might even talk a little bit about This Is Wild by Rope and Ladder. But this was a kind of a cool little sort of recommendation. I think it was Ian. Maybe it was Ian that recommended this one on his channel. Shout out to the Rhyme Signature fans out there as well. But yeah, so this is something that I plan to have a little bit of a look into a bit more as well. But that kind of sums me up outside of normal kind of listings. Caligula's Horse. I did a bit of a stint with them too. So I'm definitely going back and doing their earlier albums, which I'm not as familiar with. And so that's been on my. I've got to try and get across them. Would you want to do a discography ranking of them? That could be a cool one to do. Are you familiar with?
Yeah, but then I basically have to
do the whole thing.
Yeah, I am familiar with them, but I'm almost I have to start from scratch in that case, because I mean I've heard the latest. And for the rest, it's only like loose tracks that I've heard.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I don't know how many albums they got.
Well, I was listening to Rise Radiant, which was the one that I was less familiar with this time round. But if I remember, Caligula's Horse has maybe, how many were there? 5 albums, maybe? I know they've got Charcoal Grace, Rise Radiant, In Contact, Bloom.
Yeah.
They're the 4 that I've got. What's the
Tide, the Thief, and the River's End,
which I haven't done at all. So,
and then I don't know. Is this a live album? Moments from Ephemeral City.
I don't know. We'll have to have a look at it. But yeah, we'll have to have a look at it because maybe. But anyway, regardless, I thought it was 4 or 5 albums. But maybe if we can.
Oh, that's their debut album. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, cool.
7, well, 6. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to do some work there too. But yeah, if there's anyone who's a big Caligula's Horse fan out there, let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you think as well, because I'm a big fan. I know In Contact very well. I know Charcoal Grace very well. Rise Radiant I've done quite a few times, and I think Bloom I've sort of dipped backwards and forwards in just little spurts. So my plan is to eventually get through that discography in the background too, because I think they're pretty special. I always thought they're a bit of a, like wannabe Carnival. But that's such a disservice. Like, I mean, the Carnival's one of my favorite bands, so they're a good band. To be compared to them is a good thing, is my point. But they definitely have their own unique, sort of sound and vibe and feeling. And I love that they just seem so passionate about some of the stuff that they deliver. So I'm becoming a bigger Caligula's Horse fan with each each time I listen to them. So I think I'm going to continue sort of expanding this. I'm looking forward to hearing stuff in the future from them as well, because I love the way they're evolving as musicians too. So I think it's pretty cool.
I always think it's like I almost never think a band deserve that label. Once you get to know a band, you always hear their specific sound, you know, and their specific take and way of writing songs.
Yeah, our brains are also geared towards recognizing things and trying to categorize them, right? Whether or not it's, you see the little yellow frog and
Yeah,
you go, oh, that's poisonous because my friend ate it and died, or like, don't eat the blueberries, or like whatever it is. It's always trying to find like survival shortcuts, if you will. And so it'll see patterns in people, and that's what that part of our brain's kind of trying to do. It's always trying to find imaginative links between stuff. So I no doubt that's where it comes from too. I think, and I get what you're saying as well. I think the more you listen to something, the more unique qualities they tend to have. But I'm not so sure everyone's like that. And I think sometimes you do need enough of a difference to still like feel like a different entity. Otherwise, the first thing you hear in that sort of subgenre or subcategory tends to be the thing you end up like loving, right? It's either, and so I think that's where I just want enough of a difference. Otherwise, I just listen to what I originally listened to in the first place, probably. But in saying that too, like again, I'm the first person to say it's probably going to be a disservice. And in this case, it definitely was. My first impressions of Caligula's horse was kind of like, oh, that's cool. It sounds like something I'd like. And I just kind of put them on the back burner. But after especially exploring In Contact originally, I was like, oh, this has some really special stuff in it. So yeah. So anyway, look, thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Thank you if you've tuned in from the YouTube worlds. We appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you can. Until next week, we'll catch you guys later. Enjoy your listenings. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
peace.